And my GS1100E is arguably an icon of the 80s. People pick their favorite bike. This happens to be my favorite 80s bike. And you can watch in full 4K, just adjust your device accordingly. Well, the weatherman is saying it's going to get colder and colder as this week goes by. And I just love this temperature. It's in the high 50s, low 60s. And boy, oh boy, it couldn't be nicer riding. And step one always seems to be exactly the same. Move some motorcycles around, get pre-flighted, and we are not going to waste any time. It's just a beautiful, beautiful day out there. Still have some nice leaves changing, and the temperature, again, makes a ride like today motorcycle heaven. Now once I go through the normal routine, moving the motorcycles around, so much fun. And cleaning them up, of course, making sure I have the correct air in the tires, making sure I don't have a lot of bugs all over the bike or anything that's going to ruin my day. I like to have a clean bike. And when I have the two bikes, anytime I have to do this and have two different bikes out in the driveway, I kind of look at them and I say, boy, oh boy, back in the 80s, wow, how different are the motorcycles. And this is a much more modern bike. This one's only 14 years old. The Suzuki's 42 years old, but think of the progress they made, how much better certain things like the tires, the best example, the batteries. The batteries in the old bike with the water, with the dripping all over the frame all the time, and modern lithium batteries, modern Michelin tires, the brakes, the EBC brakes, well, so much for that. It's such a nice day, I just want to get out on the open road right away as soon as possible. And once we get up in a riding area and you go through the gears a few times, you realize why this bike is an icon. It is really a power band. Suzuki got it so right, and a lot of the bikes of this era did not get it right. What contributes to this bike being an icon is there's no glaring problems with it. Everything it does reasonably well. It's comfortable. It's got a great power band. It gets good mileage. It handles reasonably well. And the biggest thing of all, it has really stood the test of time. And of course, it's in the eye of the beholder, but I still think the styling of this bike is exceptional, right up there with the nicest ones of all time. I really, really think this is a beauty. Oh, a thing I have always appreciated about the GS is the air suspension, the air forks, the shocks. Nothing on this bike after 42 years has really gone down the tubes. You can still tune it for a nice cruise or, as I do, for sport biking. Now, one of the upgrades I made was Frank Straub gave me he had an 86 and he put an aftermarket exhaust and gave me the stock one, and it fit right on. I had to make some carbon brackets and it sounds rumbly. I love it. Another thing that makes this bike iconic to me, it's an easy to maintain motorcycle. Adjusting the valves is a snap. There's no bucket shims. The cams don't have to come out, and there's no body work to remove. There's no it's about as simple as it gets. And one other thing, in my case, you can have all the body work off the bike and turn it into a West Cooley Evil Twin in a matter of one morning. And it's not even difficult to do it. And 78,000 miles have gone by relatively painlessly with very few issues to deal with. And the fact that you can work on a bike yourself is just such a big asset to me. And anytime I ride this, it's old school motorcycling at its best. Wind in your face, no fairing, no windshield, no nothing, no beak. There's nothing on the bike that gets in the way of just having that blast of cool air coming right in your face. It is really old school motorcycling. And it's such a benefit to me that you can gas up in the morning. You know you have a 200-mile range. You don't have to worry about looking for gas stations every couple hours. And you get out on the open road, or you head out to Lake George, or whatever you do, that having that range is so nice. And having that seat in many of the reviews of the motorcycle was rated one of the most comfortable seats in motorcycling, and it is. And the combination of the good range, good ergonomics, and that seat makes for some fun, but we got to get back to the farm. "42 years, it has never disappointed me. Never not been a fun bike to ride. I don't know how to explain it. It's an icon. That's all I can say. It's an icon." Now, back in the day, Frank Straub, the late Frank Straub, and I had two 1000 Suzukis, and we couldn't get a West Cooley replica at the time, so I made two of them. This is one of them. I don't really even know if this is his or mine. I made two of them at the time. They were West Cooley replicas, and one has the reverse paint, the opposite of the other, a little bit different trim, but I thought that was very cool at the time. Everybody seemed to, the people didn't even know they weren't real West Cooley replicas. But that was the kind of the fun of motorcycling back in the day. But today, in the modern world, having this bike in a day with modern sport bikes with all their good features, this is truly an icon of the 80s. And thanks, guys, so much for watching.